Hi, everyone, in the Cobb TV studios with Cobb Chairman Mike Boyce, and good afternoon or good evening, depending on when people are watching this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to be back again, Ross.
When we last talked, we were going to senior centers for town hall meetings, dodging snowstorms in between, but you still got most of them in, and they were very well attended. And what did you hear?
Well, I think what we heard was the solution to this issue right now about what's a fair approach to applying fees to the senior centers. And this is part of a bigger universe that I'm trying to reshape right now. And I keep using the word or the phrase skin in the game. You can't make exemptions for one group of people that are using facilities that are in the nice to have or the desired category without having another group come back and saying, well, you gave them a waiver, why don't we get one? Because everyone has an issue or an argument to defend their position. But when everybody has to pay something, then that takes that off the table, and then you can get into the real issue of what does it cost to maintain or sustain the facilities. So for the seniors, the town halls did exactly what I wanted them to do, which is to come back and give us an idea of what the way forward would be on this very issue. And as I mentioned several times, that it's certainly at the front of every town hall, frankly, we fumbled this one. We did not do a very good job of communicating what we were trying to do. And so the resultant outcry was that, hey, it feels like you're trying to stiff us on something. So I get all that. But what they did is the input I got from the four town halls provided us with a reasonable compromise, which the board unanimously voted on last Tuesday, was that we would still maintain the membership fees, because I heard from a large body of people, they understood what we were doing with the fees, but could we give consideration to spreading those fees out during the year, because for some who live on a fixed income, a $60 amount was just too much for their budget. So the board agreed to do that, but more importantly, is that we're going to go back to the seniors and we're going to show them what the challenge is, and we're going to ask them to give us the answers. And they're supposed to come back by before, not later than the 1st of June with some proposals under the direction of Michael Murphy, our special projects guy.
And I was with you at many of those town halls. I think one of the topics of discussion that resonated with them was the fact that senior centers are in the desired category of what we believe county government should do, and also not utilized by a large percentage of the seniors that are eligible to use them.
Well, that's an issue, of course, is there's roughly 165,000 seniors in the county. And depending on what number you use, I'm being very generous. I'm saying somewhere between 10 and 15% of the seniors use those senior centers. The point was made that you shouldn't define seniors as someone that's 55, because people who are 55 years old work today, so they can't use them. But the other part is that we have people that are in their 30s and 40s, and maybe some even 20s that are lucky, who own property, pay the property taxes, which go to keep these senior centers open, but they're not even eligible to use them. So there were a large number of issues involved with the senior center that we had to go back and get our arms around. And I think that we're at somewhere what I call, a good, fair, middle-of-the-road compromise as to how to move forward. And I'm confident that next summer, when these fees come forward, for review by the board, we'll have something that'll be a consensus generated by the seniors, and that will be our product that we give to the board.
And as you mentioned at the beginning, this issue with the senior centers emblematic of a lot of similar discussions we'll have going forward.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's been well advertised. We have a deficit. There's no way around it. We're not going to find any more buckets to pull money out. There's no miracles. There's no trees with money on them. This is what government does. We have to create a balanced budget. And it was the perfect storm where we had a combination of millage rates that really didn't reflect building a foundation for the future, with bills that we knew were coming, and they all came together in 1 year, plus with no more reserves left to use as bill payers. So here we are. And we're all in this again. We're all in this together. Everybody's going to contribute something. And I'm waiting for the next 5 months as the commissioners get together to build this budget, which again, as I remind people, we'll be going out on the road again to give them an idea of if we have to raise the millage rate, this is what you're going to be able to purchase. And if we don't get permission to raise the millage rate, these are what we're going to cut.
Right. And in your State of the County address, which was last week, you made an emphasis, as has many members of the county commission, that public safety is our top priority.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And going forward, we're looking with ways to ensure proper funding of public safety. That includes the OLOST. There's been a lot of misinformation out there about what the OLOST is and how, explain what it is and where we stand with it now.
Okay, yes. Well, as you well know, the primary reason that I was elected was that people were not happy with the way that we had to fund the Braves bond, and we didn't get to put that in front of the voters for a referendum. So that's a $350 million partnership, which, by the way, there's good news coming out about that this week, that that partnership is starting to bear fruit. It still doesn't cover all our bills, but it is certainly covering a lot more part of them than we thought it would at this stage in the game. But the openness and transparency for any amount of money like this, which is $130 million a year, has to be put in front of the voters. And the issue for us is that I've always been concerned that our public safety, primarily in our budget, the police department, 911, emergency management, the medical examiner, some of those have self-sustaining capabilities like 911, but the rest of them are always competing against the parks and the bonds and everything. And I just understand why the fire fund could have their own special fund, and our police, that are just as important, have to fight every day for resources. Well, I found out that my thought about having a police fund that was equivalent to the fire fund, the law does not allow us anymore to change the Constitution to do that. So, as you know, I've been encouraging the commissioners to come up with creative ideas, as well as the taxpayers, by bringing them into this conversation. Give me a way forward on this. And Commissioner Weatherford's thought is that we would have something called a other local option sales tax that would raise money specifically for public safety. And we had discussions with the municipalities about this tax. They would get their cut of the tax, and then what was remaining would go to cover our public safety. And of course, there's a perception that this would generate more money than is necessary, and that would create what we call a slush fund. And I get those concerns. The other part is that they thought this is our approach to solve our $30 million deficit. It has nothing to do with the $30 million deficit. It's focused on making sure that public safety has its own funding source, that we don't have to compete against the other things that come up in our budget. So we went to the legislature yesterday, on Wednesday, and asked them to support this referendum.
Which they have to do.
They have to do. The process is that we provide them with a resolution for the referendum. Our state delegation listens to our proposal, and then they vote on it, and they either support it or they don't. If they support it, they send it back to us, and then the board has another conversation that goes and defines what exactly, specifically, like the regular SPLOST program we have here, what exactly is this money going to fund? That way our hands are tied to that. The voters know what we're doing here, and we're committed to that. And as they've seen now with the last two SPLOSTs, we use that money exactly what we're saying we're going to do. So I think there's credibility there. But the best part about this is, because it is going to be controversial, we're going to have 9, 10 months for public input on this. And the reason I'm so optimistic about that is because, going right back to the town halls, we heard ideas during the town halls that helped us solve our problem with the senior center fees. If this proposal is going to gain traction, have merit, the taxpayers, by what we're going to be telling them with our probably town halls, are going to give us clear feedback whether or not they're going to support it, all right? And how to shape that. And then if we put it on the ballot, you know, it's up or down.
And that's first, though, got to get over that legislative hurdle, which is no sure thing.
No, there isn't. They were very non-committal yesterday. But what I did tell them is that I realize they're in the same boat that I'm in. This is a hard job. You got to make hard calls. And I understood their concerns, and I told them that whatever decision they made, I would support it 100%, and we would move forward. But the bottom line is, I look at this, we win either way. Let's say that the OLOST is supported by the legislature and supported by the board, and we put it on the ballot. And let's say that it wins. So that tells me, us, the board, that the public wants us to use that set-aside money just for public safety. If it goes down in defeat, then that signal to me is they want us to use the millage rate to address public safety. Because there is no doubt, no matter what forum I go to, public safety is the #1 priority in this county, and they want us to fund that. But this mechanism, although it's noisy, it's cumbersome, it's long, laborious, it's called democracy. And if you believe in the American people like I do, they will give you the answer for what you're trying to do. This process here is going to give them ample opportunity to be involved, and I'm seeing that more and more because of the emails I'm getting, the attendance at our town halls. Clearly, the public's engaged now, both because of the nature of the topics, but also because of our invitation to come out here and get involved in your process. As everyone who gets my emails, it's your government. Stay involved.
It's 1 penny on the dollar sales tax.
Right.
But one of the attractive things that I heard at some of the meetings was the fact this would not put us above any of the nearby counties when it came to a sales tax.
No, it would not. We'd still be equal to or less than other counties around with a sales tax. But we have a long road in front of us, and as I tell people, you got to be patient sometimes, but eventually, if you take the risk on the taxpayer, and I believe in taking the risk on the American people, they will give us the answer, and then we can go forward with their answer.
It's going to be a long year.
It's going to be, it'll be an interesting year.
The color of the week, though, appears to be green.
Green, yes.
As we receive this award from the ARC.
Yeah, I could not be more proud. I went to the Atlanta Regional Commission meeting on Wednesday, totally unprepared for this award. I cannot say enough good words about the staff and the volunteers in this county who helped make this award a reality. There were only, I think, 6 communities in the whole metro area, counties and cities, 6 of them that were awarded this Green Community Award, and we were one of them. And this we're at the gold level, which is, I think, the highest level. But we're going to get to the highest level because of the things that we're doing. The criteria involve things like the amount of trails that we're building here, the green space that we're purchasing, our commitment to low energy alternatives, our commitment to alternative transportation. There's a number of factors that weigh into this very, very important award. And my hat's off to Judy Skeel that led the team that did this. And, we, like I said here, this goes to show you, this is just another example of why this is truly a 5-star county with a staff that is committed every day to giving you nothing but the best service that we could possibly ask for. And this is this is their award. This is not mine. We get to hang it on our wall. But this award goes to the staff.
All right. Excellent. And there's going to be, as we've just discussed, a lot of topics moving forward. Subscribe to the chairman's newsletter, all the county newsletters. You can go on cobbcounty.org to sign up for those. Subscribe to our Facebook page, our YouTube channels, and our Twitter account. You'll be well informed as we move forward with all these issues. In the meantime, have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Ross.